is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be typing Bobbi Althoff. We've got a lot of recommendations from people to type her, so we're going to be looking at her today. We're going to be breaking her down using Linda Barron's interaction styles and Tiffany combined with cognitive functions. We do have these broken down in our playlist, and we have the cognitive functions as well. So go ahead and check that out. Christian, anything you want to say before we get into this?
Why do we care about Bobbi and why do we want to know that her personality? Is because she's an extremely controversial figure. For one thing, she's been accused of being an industry plant. If you don't know what that is, industry plant is a person who's propped up to be a celebrity by the powers that be over other peoples that are probably more deserving. In this case, it would be Funny Marco, the character that she's playing. He's the one who invented it, and she took it and ran with it. So people are wondering, what's her real personality, right? That's why we're doing this video, so we could get a clear view of who this person is.
All right, guys. So first thing is first, we'll go and see what the monkeys over at Personality Database has her as. They have Bobbi as an INTP, guys, okay? Let's look at the chart here. So INTPs, you can go look at the chart. Go to mongolianmindset.org. We're just getting started there. We'll be rolling out more things like courses and all that in the future. But INTPs are responding. They're informative. They are abstract. They're systematic. They're outcome focused. They're TIFE and they're SINE. And she meets those metrics. We will call her an INTP. If she doesn't, we'll find her actual personality type. And we'll be telling things down over here. And then when we get enough, we'll just start eliminating things off the board, because you always want to eliminate the most obvious stuff before you start moving around. And comment below what you think her type is, guys, and subscribe to the channel and join our Discord.
What people think.
You're very good at deflecting.
Because of who Drake is, it's like, that
TEFI.
interviewing him is going to change your career.
When's the last time you talked to him? I am super excited to be talking to my guest today. Her podcast is
Keke Palmer, Baddie Alert.
And she's had such a fascinating rise as an
Keke Palmer, I only know who she is.
entertainer.
What?
Okay, she's usually the one asking the questions, but today we're gonna switch things up and put her in the hot seat. We're gonna dig deep as we discuss how to blend two things that don't normally go together: performance art and journalism. Welcome to the show, Bobbi.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I have to ask you is, are you in character right now?
I'm not.
You're not, so I'm getting the real Bobbi.
You are.
Okay. Well, let's start at the top, because at first, when I heard about you or when I saw your stuff, you did a lot of mom content.
I did.
And then you kind of walked your way into journalism. Did you have a journalism background?
No, I did not. I just wanted to start a podcast, and I kind of modeled it after a podcast that I listened to.
So I just wanted to start a podcast, so that's going to be NI, right? What you want is generally going to be seen by NI a lot of times. So we're going to hit her for NISE, and then she modeled it after somebody that she saw. That's SE, right? You see what somebody else is doing, and now you're doing it as well, scanning the environment. Okay, Christian, what you going to say?
Also, I would say the fact that she didn't start off in journalism and then kind of pivoted towards it could be a point towards maybe pragmatic, because she didn't go the traditional route into this type of career. She kind of just wanted it, like you said, and then, took a pragmatic approach and just, kind of put herself into that field.
We'll see about that. Okay, let's keep going, guys.
What podcast was that?
How I Built This with Guy Raz.
Ooh, How I Built It. Shout out to Guy.
Yeah.
So when you initially said, okay, I'm going to do this podcast, did you know what it was going to be about? Did you immediately say just like, okay, it's going to be kind of like entertainment, I'm going to take on this persona?
So in the beginning, my plan was that I was just going to interview rich people and like figure out how they like just make them uncomfortable, I guess, and like ask how they're rich.
Okay, so we have an outcome here. She's talking about her outcome there, guys. That is an outcome. She has an outcome in mind, right? She started with an outcome. Make rich people uncomfortable. So she's going to SE.
Know what it was going to be about? Did you immediately say just like, okay, it's going to be kind of like entertainment, I'm going to take on this persona?
So in the beginning, my plan was that I was just going to interview rich people and like figure out how they like just make them uncomfortable, I guess, and like ask how they're rich and like what it's like to be rich and stuff. But I like very quickly, I thought I was going to be like a good interviewer. I realized I wasn't. So then it just became a parody. And yeah, that's how it became just like a parody of a good podcast.
So how would you describe the character that you play on your podcast?
A horrible interviewer. It's really nice too seeing your setup. It's so like legit. Everything is so legit in here. Mine's not. It doesn't like I don't have a cool. This is so cute. Everything.
So right now she's talking about the SC stuff around, right? That's stuff that's in the environment. All of the stuff, your stuff is so cute. That's all stuff that I can verify, Christian can verify. That's SE data.
Here, but
Thank
mine does
you.
not have any of that.
What are the similarities between the character that you play and you, the real Bobbi?
The similarities. I mean, I am really awkward in real life, so yeah, it's not always an act. Like I genuinely like am really awkward at times.
Awkwardness, right? Like where can awkwardness come from as far as like MBTI? Would it be like maybe like a FI thing, like you don't know how you feel about a certain situation? Or
I would just stay away from it because there's just too many things out there, right? And there's no point of trying to like grab something that is very vague when you can grab something that's a little bit more tangible, right?
so awkwardness can come from a multitude of things.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so you can't really specify. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you said at the beginning that you kind of like the idea of it being awkward and like pissing off these rich people, so to speak. But now people know the show. So how has that changed how you can approach the interviews? Because now it's like people come in knowing like Bobby's going to do some weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to like kind of take control of the interview? How do you balance that?
I don't know. I kind of just wing every interview I do and just feed off of the energy of the person I'm interviewing. I feel like you can.
So she just wings it. I would say that's SE again, right? She's just improvising. Right? She's just using the SE, the tactical, to see how it's going in the particular moment, right? Because she's just feeding off what the person's doing, right? So that's more of an SE thing to do, right?
Approach the interviews. Because now it's like people come in knowing like Bobby's going to do some weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to like kind of take control of the interview? How do you balance that?
I don't know. I kind of just wing every interview I do and just feed off of the energy of the person I'm interviewing. I feel like
But
you can
wouldn't that be a progression thing? Wouldn't that be
I mean, I wouldn't say progression because she's not talking about like going through a journey or anything like that. But she just right now she's just talking about like kind of improvising on the spot, right? As progression is more of like you're focused on the journey, not the outcome. So you'll be talking about how like how the journey of things like arrive, right? You're not really focused on the outcome, right? You're just focused on building the best process would be journey focused, right? But she's just talking about right now, it's just like that person's in the room with me. I'm just going to use tactical intelligence, which is like basically being in the moment, figuring out like how things are working and going from there. So I would say that's tactical intelligence and that's also SE.
Okay.
You wouldn't see somebody who's weak in SE saying that I'm just gonna you wouldn't see somebody who's like weak in SE like, oh, I'm just going to just go as it's going like right there because they're weak there. The only person that would probably do it may be an ENTP or ENFP, but because they have NE. But like the other ones are gonna be like very opposed to that because that's not a real strong suit of theirs. They can't just like improvise and shit like that. So that tells you like she is somebody who can improvise pretty well. But if she was talking about like a journey or something, like she's not talking about her journey, right? She's not like, oh, my small steps to get to where I got to. She's not really talking about that. She's like glossing over that and pretty much jumping to outcomes, if that makes sense.
I would say that like no one's ever gotten mad, and everyone usually like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, people are like really like, I mean, I'm opening the door to roast me. So people they roast me.
So
they get me good.
What's the most uncomfortable interview that you've done? Or I guess awkward or roasting, however we put it into words. What's the one where you're like, oof?
My interview with Offset, he roasted me the whole time. He came.
Did you expect this though? Like, did he have the attitude of like, yo?
All right, Chris, what do you think of on responding versus initiating?
I don't think she's initiating.
No.
She's responding for sure. But as far as like the language, man, she like it's hard for me to say that she's informative. She's like very like goes into with her words,
Okay, so let's take what we can do, right? So let's go ahead and take responding. Also, we know that Bobbi is an introvert. Okay, we know she's an introvert.
Yeah,
We just
she's definitely
knocked off
responding.
We just knocked off
That's very
all
bad.
of the top half. All the top half of the chart is gone because she is responding, right? We are getting SENI. So, I mean, we do have enough to knock that off the board as well. So she is an SENI user here. So let's go ahead and knock that off. She kind of knows what she wants, right? She knows how to improvise and play that tactical intelligence. So we have these two. Ooh. So now we're looking at ISTP, INTJ, INFJ, and ISFP. That eliminates a lot of types right there. Just knowing that she's an SE user. So when you get in that bottom half, if you can figure out the SE users, you can eliminate a lot, right? Because if we find out, like we said earlier, that she seems to be coming from an outcome perspective, then we know she's ISFP.
I know you mentioned it doesn't seem like people actually get the point of the show, or they don't understand where you're coming from. How does that sit with you, like in a real way?
I mean, I do, like, I think that I thought that people would just like know that was a character, and I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh no, that's just how she is in real life. So I've been trying lately to like make sure that there's like this is like, I want to get into acting, and this has always been my like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Outcome.
that's why.
See that? She's got an outcome. She's got a fucking outcome. This is just my way to get into acting. That's my outcome.
That are like, oh no, that's just how she is in real life. So I've been trying lately to like make sure that there's like this is like, I want to get into acting, and this has always been my like.
Oh, really?
Gotta preserve the outcome. Gotta preserve the end product.
Yeah, that's why I'm here actually.
Interest. Oh shit. Interest. That's why I'm here. Go ahead and show my interest, baby.
No, that was a character, and
But
I
you
think
know
there's a
what's
lot of
getting
people
me?
that are like, oh no, that's just how she is in
Like-
real life.
Like, okay, so yeah, there is an outcome, but she's so direct with it. Like, she's just like, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's very it's
interesting.
very like direct communication. That's the only thing that's like throwing me off a little bit.
Well, I mean, you got to go with what you see here. You got responding, you got NISE, so you're down to 4 types here. You got the INTJ, you got INFJ, ISTP, and ISFP, right? The only outcome one of those types is the ISFP.
Mhm.
Right? That's the only one, right? If you were to hit her for TFI, then you would only have INTJ and ISFP left, right? And with her seeing like she has outcome and she has interests, INTJs aren't interest, they're systematic. They'd be talking about like how they use a system to get where they're going, or a structure, right? So you can kind of use like process of elimination here. Like, if she's saying systematic stuff, no, she's not. Even though like sometimes ISFPs can come off direct because they're very short with the words. ISFPs, they're very short with the words. They believe in actions, right? And we'll be talking about more of that in our ISFP breakdown. But ISTP and ISFPs, like that's Christian's type and her type, they believe more in actions than words, right?
Yeah.
They believe you provide showing with actions. They're one of the less like, they don't talk as much as the other personality types.
So I've been trying lately to like make sure that there's like this is like, I want to get into acting, and this has always been my like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I'm here actually. Do you have anything you want to put me in?
So then you've always like had, you maybe didn't have interest in journalism, but you had
Yeah, in acting. So it was my way of like, no one's putting me in their movies right now or shows right now. So like, this is kind of my way of like acting. So that's like what the character is just me like acting.
So then how do you like deal with the backlash? Especially like okay, so for like the Drake interview, and then it rolls over to the Yachty, then it rolls over to the Offset, and then there's like these Twitter threads where they like, this
so
white girl
bland,
coming in
bro.
hip hop, and she's capitalizing off of it with this character that kind of like leans into some negative stereotypes. Like, do you care about that when you start doing your next interviews, or are you like what do you think when you read this stuff?
Well, so during it, everything kind of happened like I was like, I didn't, like I said, I don't really plan anything. So it's like my Drake interview happened just because like Funny Marco interview happened. Like he followed me from there, and then Drake told Yachty to come on. So then Yachty comes on, and then like
bro, that seems like progression
DM
to
him.
me.
I'm like, oh, do you want to? So it's like,
That does sound like progression.
That
there.
sounds like progression.
I don't really plan anything.
I
Go
don't even
back.
plan
Whatever
anything.
you
I
happen,
just
like, he
got
followed
here,
me
and
from
then I
there,
got
and
there,
then
and
Drake
then
told Yachty to
now
come
I'm an
on, so then Yachty
interviewer, and
comes
now
on,
I
and then
want to be an actor
and then like
after.
Then it became this thing where it's like now people are coming on the show, like you said, just to roast or just to kind of like blow up the character in a way. How does that change your then trajectory?
I mean, I think I'm doing like the same thing I was doing in the beginning, which is just anytime I hear a cool name, I'm like, okay, I'll interview them.
Yeah.
So I need like anytime I find someone that I think would be a good guest, I'm like, okay. And again, I know who I am.
that's
I know.
pause.
I know who I am. FI. Okay.
EE.
She's
EE.
SE.
Talking about.
She's
Oh, if I see a big name, I just interview him. It's not really what
ST.
I want to do. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
and it might
So
and it might be interest too, because it's like I'm doing it. I could be
yeah, that's
more
interest.
famous. So,
All right, so we're gonna go and hit her for TEFI there,
yeah.
guys. So right now, the only two that's left right now are the ISFP and INTJ. As Christian said, we're picking up interests, right? INTJs aren't interests. Even though she seems to be coming off direct, we're getting some interest and we're getting outcome. We did get progression a little bit there. So we can go back and hunt for this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's making a compelling argument here, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, people really looking in and zeroing in. Like once you see these threads and that people take what they see so seriously, does it make you want to take it more seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like don't want to offend anyone at all.
Yeah.
So like, I try to not offend people.
Yeah.
Like I spend my whole life trying not to offend anyone, like anyone at all.
That does not sound like Effie Trickster right there.
Spend my whole life not trying to offend anybody at all.
So that doesn't sound like Effie. You gotta remember, like INTJs have Effie Trickster, so they're like unaware of like a lot of like social norms, and they're like very bad at picking up like. To an INTJ, they feel as though anything can be socially acceptable, so I only go off what I feel is right. So a lot of times you'll see them doing like stupid Effie Trickster type things where they say stuff they shouldn't say, you know, like just stupid shit, like somewhat similar to like how I am with like shit, like with social norms and shit. Like I really don't give a fuck. They are a little bit more into like not giving a fuck. But let's keep going. She doesn't want to offend anybody, ladies and gentlemen. I think she's ISFP. Christian's making a compelling case for INTJ. Let's go.
I mean, I definitely like don't want to offend anyone at all.
Yeah.
So like, I try to not offend people.
Yeah.
Like I spend my whole life trying not to offend anyone, like anyone at all. So yeah, I definitely like take into account what I'm reading and stuff. And I don't want people to think, I mean, like I said, I know who I am and that I genuinely like, I just found cool people that like I was shocked would ever come on my podcast, and it was like a very like, of course I would interview them. Like every person I've interviewed, it's like I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this person would ever like want me to interview them and go along with this. So yeah, but I definitely like do think of that and like see all of.
So how do you balance that and still performing your art? Because I mean, they're like, for instance, like I'll use somebody like Kanye West, for instance. His performance art can go so severe, right? But we love it. It's like it's crazy, and he'd be doing a lot of wild stuff. But also, it's kind of like a part of his character. And he seems really dedicated to trying to be so true to that, despite what anyone thinks. So for you, how do you balance still being able to give people entertainment, but not overly?
Well, this is not a character. Kanye West is actually like that, as opposed to Bobbi is playing a character, you know, to fulfill her interest. That's why you give Kanye grace for being himself, but not Bobbi, you know. But anyways,
being affected by what they say or how they're going to take it.
I mean, I think I need to work on not caring so much about what people think, because like you look at Kanye West, he's so successful.
Kanye West doesn't care what people think you do because you're a TE user.
And it's like, but you just can't care about what people say.
You can't. It's like, it depends.
Yeah,
like everybody, it depends on what kind of artist you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just like, I just am someone who cares way too much. So it'll put me in like, oh God, I'm not going to post for like 6 months because I'm like, how do I make I want everyone to like me. And then when they don't, I'm like, oh my gosh. But like in my ideal world, everyone just like loves me and like welcomes me with open arms. And like the real
ideal world.
I know, but in the real world, it's not like that. So it's like, I don't think I'll ever be someone who.
There's some FIP, FI shit there. That's some FI
I want
shit.
everyone to like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in my ideal world, everyone's hugging me and
liking
loving me
me.
because I am FI hero. I am FI hero. ISFP here. I think her no planning comes from her TE inferior. I think that's what it's coming from because they have TE inferior, so they don't really have planning. Like if you were talking to an ENTJ or an INTJ, they're very meticulous a lot of times with their planning or like how they plan to like go or get to where they're going. They're like meticulous with it. So to see her say like, I don't really plan, I think that's TE inferior there.
So basically her main goal is to get everybody to like her so she could feel good about herself, right? She's TE, so like she basically is using like these big names or whatever. It's not that she's like specifically interested in them as people. She's using them, right?
Yeah.
She's using them and their name for her own interest.
To get to acting, which is her end product. Her end product is acting. Whatever she's doing here, she's hungo on the end product, which is acting.
Yeah.
Right. She has an end product here, and everything is focused towards that end product. But let's keep going.
Who doesn't care about what people think, and I'll always be a people pleaser. So it's like,
Okay, so what would you say to the people that feel like, okay, you're just capitalizing without concern? If that's not who you are, what would you say you are doing?
I don't think I was like capitalizing. I think I was just like taking people who I thought were really amazing and like interviewing them, but I didn't think more like deeply into that.
That don't make no motherfucking sense. Wait, you just took random people that you thought were cool, but you say you don't do no planning, you don't know who they are.
You lying.
Contradiction. You got your ass bust right then and there, baby.
You lying.
You lying piece of shit.
I see what people.
I definitely can see how people would come to that conclusion. It's like it's crazy though, and I know a lot of people thought like I mean it's crazy. Like
I know what a lot of people thought that's a TE thing.
Again, assuming it's a setup or assuming, I mean, or then there's always the industry plant gag.
I know.
You're not an industry plant, right?
I am, but
so wait, what is the industry plant to you?
I mean, I don't truly like know.
What is that?
I feel like it means like
how you see that? I don't even know what an industry plant. T.I. Demon right there, bro. How do you not know what a fucking industry plan is?
Bro, she's
how
lying.
the fuck you not know what a it is self-explanatory in the name.
It's fucking lying.
Or
I mean,
or then there's always the industry plant gag.
It's fucking lying. Right. Of course she knows what an industry plan is. He knows
I know.
What an industry plan, right?
I am, but
so wait, what is the industry plant to you?
I mean, I don't truly like know.
What is that?
I feel like it means like I don't know.
I feel.
Well, I mean, like the industry is like helping you. Like I don't know where. I know I applied and they were like,
so I guess what I think is an industry plan is. What I think industry plan is, it's like somebody that has been.
She's gonna use her TI. See, she's gonna use TI here.
Okay,
but she's higher up with TI.
And like that is tied to someone else in the industry and uses those connections to capitalize, and they like have zero talent.
That makes more sense than what I thought it was. So. I
was like, you know what it is.
Like, I don't know, like the industry like comes in and is like, hey, like we pick you, you're gonna be the next. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have any ties though, so I would love to have had ties. I feel like my life would have been a lot easier if I had ties. Don't have any ties. Yeah. Just have like.
Well, you do feel kind of planty. We do have the same manager, so is this?
I know, isn't that crazy?
Feels a bit planty.
This is definitely planty.
You got here in 5 minutes. It took me 20 years.
Hey, it has been a minute. 20 years. You started so young.
Yes, girl. I've been working hard.
Yeah, it did not take you. I think you're the real industry plant.
Do you think that's? Do you think that's representative of the times, or do you think that's
I don't know.
Cultural?
Like I don't know how you got in it. Like it's like I wanted to be like a child actress. But it didn't happen.
Did you tell your parents?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Fuck off." Or?
No, they were like, "We'll take you to like a scam LA thing where we like where we pay the little bit of money we have, and then we hope that you're gonna be an actress, and it doesn't amount to anything. So you go back to school and like and let your dreams die."
Wow. And then you just started it back up one day.
I
on
was like,
Instagram.
yeah,
You're
on
like,
TikTok.
oh, yeah, my
I was like, my dream. I want to be.
So what do you think the secret is? Like to the secret sauce of like going viral, of
she's
being
so
a content
unlikable, bro.
creator.
On the podcast, because are like not on in the internet, because it's just like
It really
I have
helps
no
the
problem
interest.
if I post this, but I just say like post everything. I'm also just like a chronic like oversharer, so that
Yeah.
really helped me on the podcast, because are like not on in the internet, because it's just like I have no problem sharing all of my insecurities. I have no problem sharing things that are like, I'm like my boobs. Like I was so embarrassed about that. And I was like, let me just like make fun of myself for this.
It's interesting because it's almost as if you're like an extreme contradiction, which we all are, right?
All
Because
right, guys, man, we're done here, man. This one
Yeah.
was ISFP. She's ISFP. She is
Alright. So,
responding, concrete.
interest.
Right. We picked up a lot of interest. Like she has a motive behind things, right? Um, I see more with FI users, it's all about me and my motive, right? When you see like somebody who's an FE user, it's kind of like Christian will try to make something a win-win situation because he does have FE, right? But when it's FI, it's kind of like nasty fucking
What
take
can
your
I
money,
get for
rob you,
myself?
fucking interest. Disgusting interest.
Disgust.
Like Astro, like disgusting. It's disgusting interest. And it's disgusting because it's also pragmatic, guys. Okay. That pragmatic interest is like, I'm getting something here, man. I'm getting something here now, very soon, right? ISPs are informative, guys. It's very hard to tell with her. ISPs can give you trouble like that. But she has an outcome in mind, ladies and gentlemen. She has an outcome. So with that being said, we got Bobbi as an ISFP. It's great to have Christian here because he made me double check against INTJ there, guys. He made me verify against INTJ, and that's very important because you motherfuckers be on my dick about typing people INTJ. So, guys, we got ISFP here. We're going to give her Enneagram. You got to give an ISFP a 4. Unfortunately, that's what everybody's going to say. And if I say something otherwise, they're going to be on my dick. I'm going to say 4W3, right? She wants that achievement of a 3. And I'm going to go with S. Fuck, man. I'm going to go with SO. She could be SP or whatever, but I'm gonna go SO/SP, right? Because she just says she's a chronic sharer, and then when she was talking in the interview, she did talk about like what the girl had that she didn't have, so a little bit of envy there coming out. So we got her for that. Chris, what do you think ranking wise?
Man,
Oh,
in
we're gonna
terms
get her
of
for harmonizing.
ranking, man, the previous one we did was Sabrina Carpenter. We put her at above average. This one, I'm gonna put an average. Okay.
Average. She
I
a
don't
plant,
think-
Christian.
Huh?
She a plant.
Do I think she's a plant? Yes, absolutely. If not a plant, she's at least exploiting Funny Marco's character. She basically stole it and ran with it, okay? And because, she's has certain connections, whatever, they just let her run with that shit and then, kind of shafted Funny Marco. I don't like that. I think she's average. I don't think she's developed enough. That's why you see her kind of like contradicting herself all over the place, and she like doesn't really know, what she's doing, in my opinion. She has a lot of developing to do. So and I can see why people don't like her because she's very, upfront with her interests and is very selfish minded, so
Disgusting. It's like, but you guys know when I joke around with that pragmatic interest, like, well, especially when it's an SFP, boy, that should be in your face. Like you can't get away from it. It's like it's like they don't even give a fuck that they gonna just say it right in front of you. Like I'm getting this out of it, and this ain't what you get. You ain't getting shit.
Yeah.
You gonna help me, bitch.
Or I'm only doing this because I get a benefit out of it. They don't even try to hide it.
Disgusting.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Christian, bro, we may have to play the sound with Astro in this one. Disgusting. Yeah, guys, we got her as an ISFP, 4W3 SOSP. She's harmonizing and she's fucking average, man. Christian, anything? We're out of here, man. Are we out of here?
I think so, man. Because usually I would say, hey, what can we learn from this person? But honestly, we can't learn a goddamn thing from this person, okay? Just take what she's doing and throw it in the trash can, okay? So we'll catch you on the next one, okay? Hopefully
All right, you
somebody
guys, take
better.
it easy.
Peace out.